Recently, I polled viewers for what kind of videos I should make this year. The winner was how to make JavaScript for Adobe apps. So this is the first video on the subject. There will be many more to follow. But I need your help. I can guess where to start. Something simple with a minimal interface to cover the basics. But for upcoming videos, I want your input. Let me know in the comments the topics I should demonstrate. That will guide me in preparing future videos. Before I begin, I'll quickly mention some tools I use. See links in the description for where to learn more. For writing scripts, I use VS Code. For extensions, the important one is ExtendScript Debugger. This is specific to Adobe scripts. There are other general extensions that are helpful. ESLint and Beautify are two examples. There is plenty on the web and YouTube about VS Code and extensions for it. Now let's make some code. I assume you know at least some JavaScript, so I won't spend time teaching that. This tutorial is about JavaScript specific to Adobe apps. But for me, a script always begins with one general JavaScript pattern, an anonymous function. To be precise, an immediately invoked function expression. In simpler terms, a run now function. Because by wrapping the function inside parentheses, it's an expression. And the added parentheses at the end is the run operator. So the function runs immediately. But why, you may ask? Because in JavaScript, variables are function scope. This gets us out of the global scope. Because we're now in a function, the variable scope is private. Anyway, it has other uses, but nothing important to understand for our purposes beyond knowing how to write it. Just as you see here, a parenthesis, function, parentheses for the arguments, and pair of braces as always, a closing parenthesis to finish the expression, then parentheses for the run operator. End with a semicolon because the entire thing is a statement. To learn more, search for immediately invoked function expression. Now, with that out of the way, let's make a simple interface. We need a few variables. var g for group, var p for panel, var w for window. Because of coding other languages, I'm in the habit of declaring variables first. It's a good habit in JavaScript, too. It's fine to declare variables in line while working up code, but I always come back later and hoist variables to the top of the scope. More about that at the end. First, we need a dialog window. W equals new, window, dialog. That's enough to make it happen, but it's nice to provide a title. That's the second argument. I'll use Adobe Script Tutorial 1. Now let's add a panel. This is a frame with a border. P equals W add panel. This script is going to select a folder, so we'll add a button to click. But first, I want to show the path next to the button when a folder is selected. So it needs a group. Otherwise, the path appears below the button instead of beside it. G equals P add group. Now add the button to the group. var btn folder input equals G add button undefined folder ... When adding interface controls, the first argument is the type, always a string. The second argument is its size. By not defining size, we let the script decide how to size the window and everything in it. The third argument is the control's label, another string, the text it displays. I've declared the variable inline, but later I'll hoist it up to where the others are declared. I like prefixes, in this case, btn, so I know what kind of variable it is. More habits from other languages. Next, add to the group the text for the folder path. var txt folder input equals g add static text undefined and an empty string. There is no text to display yet. Why the label is empty. There is a fourth optional argument that is helpful, a properties object that can contain multiple property names and values. Just one for now. Truncate, middle. When the path is too long to fit, this keeps the beginning and end by sacrificing the middle. Last, we need buttons OK and Cancel. I'll put these outside the panel. But the two buttons I want grouped so they are side by side. I'm going to reuse the variable g, because once interface controls inside a group are defined, we don't need to reference the group again. So there's no need to give a bunch of groups each a unique variable name. Only if we needed to remember the group, for example, to disable it based on other interface choices, then use a permanent name, like grp folder input, for example. Not needed in this case. For our new group, I'll use G again. G equals W add group. Then put the OK and Cancel buttons in the group. But first, I want them centered. So tell the group to align children, meaning controls inside it, centered. G align children equals center. Then add the buttons. var btn OK equals G add button undefined OK. var btn cancel equals G add button undefined cancel. That's all the code it takes to draw a simple interface. But we need to do more than just draw it. We have to respond to the user. This requires event handlers. For this interface, there are 3 events of interest. Clicking any of the 3 buttons. So for each, define a handler, which is a function called when the event occurs. For example, when the folder button is clicked. btn folder input on click equals function. That's the structure. Now fill in what it does. var f equals folder select dialog. Notice the capital F. This is the folder object, not a variable. This calls the select dialog method of the folder object, which displays a system open dialog. Next, check if the variable f has a value and do something with it. If f txt folder input text equals f full name. This sets the text property of the static text we added beside the folder button. Next, we need to handle the OK and Cancel buttons. btn OK on click equals function. And btn Cancel on click equals function. The contents of each function is simple. Call the window close method. The only difference is the value passed. We'll use 1 for OK and 0 for cancel. W close 1 and W close 0. All that remains is to display the window. W show. And the script is ready to run. But before testing any script, there is one important thing to know. When a script shows a window, the program then waits for user input, indefinitely. Until the user clicks a button or other action, the program is stuck waiting. So ensure the script has something that closes the window. Without it, the application hangs forever, and you'll have to force quit to stop it. In this case, the code has click event handlers for the OK and cancel buttons that each close the window. So we're OK and ready to test the script. At this point, the script is not specific to any app. This code works in InDesign, Photoshop, or Illustrator. I'll use InDesign on my Mac to try it. That doesn't look the best, but we'll get to that. The folder button works, but without sizing the interface, we never see the path because it starts out empty, which has no width at all. OK or cancel close the window as they should. So far, so good. The static text for the folder path needs a minimum size. I'll add this directly after the interface element is defined. txt folder input preferred size equals brackets 200, -1. The value is an array of two numbers. First is the width, second is the height, both in pixels. I only want it wider, so the second value is -1. This means leave that dimension alone. Now try the script again. That's better. We have space for the folder path. If you're curious, try something for the height besides -1. And you can see the result. I'll stick with default height. OK, we now have a working script. It does nothing and makes no difference whether clicking OK or cancel. To determine which button is clicked, test for the value passed to the close method. Recall that OK uses 1 and cancel uses 0. These values are returned by the show method of the window. So instead of simply calling show, test what returns when calling it. If wShow equals 1, alert, OK was clicked. Now run the script. Click cancel and the script ends. But click OK and we know it was clicked. I usually call a function that does some work. For example, a function named process. It can be any name, that's just what I use. Last, I like to hoist my variables to the top. My preference, but I'm not one to scold others for how they get a job done. So do as you please. It's just a suggestion for cleaner code. And there you have it, the basic structure of a script. Keep this code because in the next video, and more to come, we'll build on this to make scripts that actually do something. Subscribe so you're notified of upcoming videos. And like this one if you found it helpful. Also leave a comment. What do you want to accomplish with Adobe Scripts? For which application? Your comments help me decide the topics to feature in future videos. Thanks for watching.